gonna be great. Oh, and I'm being recorded. Even better. Let me go here. Let me go there. Okay. If I click on this. Yeah, it does. Sweet. Let me do an introduction of myself, and then we'll make sure I got everybody's names, because I'm really bad with names. This is easier though with 4 people. I'm Josh Barrett. I have been around the brokerage I'm 4 years licensed. I've been around for 5 years-ish. I used to have multiple different jobs. So I work currently as the director of ops for a team. I used to work as the director of ops for a team. That's how I started in real estate. And I had actually, oh my gosh, I might just blanked out. Hunter's job for a while. I was the director of tech for the brokerage right when Command came out. So it used to be my job to teach people how to use Command, what Command is, how to set up smart plans, all those things, basically how to be an agent. And then I got recruited from the brokerage to work for Peter. So I work for Peter Morkel now. We're a real estate team. We actually found out we're in the top 10 teams in the state in KW. Maybe. Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to Mapleton, or did you figure out what your plan is there? Oh, you're joining Livian. Okay. Sounds good. So where was I? Oh yeah. Yeah. So I basically run the back end of teams. That's been my background. I do a little bit of my own production, but I do like anywhere between 6 and 10 deals a year. So it's nothing like crazy, but respectable. But all of my production comes from my social media, literally all of it. I don't really call people. I don't write handwritten notes. I just post on Facebook and consistently keep in contact with my people through social media. And I have a decent history with social media in the past, and so they asked me to teach this class, so I teach it every month. So if everyone come back, come on back. Okay, so we've got, oh my gosh, I'm so bad with names. Corey and wait, starts with a K. Keaton, yep, okay. Corey and Keaton, what are your guys' names? Dorian, okay. And Wendy, okay. Tell me, how long have you guys been licensed?
A year and a half.
A year and a half? Okay. So did you come from somewhere? Where'd you come from?
We're with EXP.
With, oh, okay.
They're with EXP and then this was.
Okay. Was the real move just too much for you? Just kidding. Just kidding. We looked at real one spot at time way back in the day. Well, real and EXP are like the new fish in the pond. Like, yeah, you know, they're like the hot commodity. Feels a little bit more like an MLM, but and real has a lot of. It's like EXP if you didn't feel like an MLM.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, EXP is very, yeah, that's how they recruit people, pushing,
well, and that's like the big pro of EXP is.
There's
You can make a lot of
demographics
money.
needs things.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of fun.
Yeah. So wait, so who here is solo on team? Are you guys on team?
We're on a team. We're on
For Weld? Okay. That would make sense in that figure. You on Livian? Soloing it up, let's go. Represent the solo agents, my friend. Good for you. Okay, so let's dive into it. So we're gonna go through 2 things. I like to cover the why, just so like we can settle into like the fact that the internet is super important. It sounds obvious, but we are 50 years into having the internet, and there are 5 billion internet users, and 4.7 billion of those internet users are on social media. Let that simple. 90-something% of people that are on the internet are on some kind of social media platform, which is just nuts. Now, these are all estimates and they don't really know, but we assume that they're probably pretty accurate. This kind of breaks down where people are. So majority are on Facebook. YouTube is a big one. WhatsApp, Messenger. I will say this though. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram are the same company, and Messenger, right? So we're all in Meta right here. Meta is kind of a big deal.
when it comes to getting in front of people on social media. These are one cover. 9% of all home buyers search online. Oh, I love this one. Okay, 60 to 90% of sales are done through an agent. So this is super interesting because it started at 60 back in 2001, and it has grown to 90 since 2001. And so since the internet came out, everybody thought, oh, people are going to die. I mean, by came out and like became a thing, right? Everybody thought that the role of the agent will die. That was a big saying back in the day, but it's only increased, right? More and more people are using an agent because pretty much everything that is online is tied to, let's get you in touch with an agent. Let's get you in touch with, someone to help you get through this process. So kind of interesting. Any ahas from those? We've got lots of aha slides. I like to hear your voices. Any ahas?
I didn't realize that literally the 90s, what would that be? 4.7 out of 5 billion people.
That's nice. Let's see, 4.5 out of 5 is what? That's 90%. So
Yeah, 94%.
a little bit over 90.
Yeah, but then again, there's over 8 billion people in the world, so
Yeah.
over half the world is on the social media sites.
Yep. And 2.9 on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's no small number. I know that number will change.
No wonder.
Yeah, seriously. Sure. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to the ways of the internet. When I first made these slides, I taught a class called The Shift. This is before your guys' time, but pretty much right when the market was shifting, they asked like 10 teachers to teach like very specific classes on how to excel in certain areas. And I was in charge of social media, and we had people from all kinds of brokerages coming in. We had about 60 to 100 people on average in each of those classes. But these slides were originally made for that class, and we just happened to teach these same slides. So let's talk about social media. So basically, this class is going to be a lot of just me dumping info on you. So what I would do is I would take like 2 or 3 things as takeaways, and make a goal to do those 2 or 3 things, okay, as we go through them. So I'm going to talk about a lot of rules that I've made up and didn't make up, so on and so forth. But 80-20 rule, you guys know what the 80-20 rule is? Not the 80% of what you do will bring 20-10 or whatever that rule is. Probably heard that one, but
80 plus 20 equals 100.
that's true. Nailed it. Okay, so moving on. Now, the 80-20 rule is when you are posting on social media, 80% of what you post is personal, and 20% is business. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so what are the exceptions? Anybody guess what the exceptions are? Nailed it. It's a business page, obviously. It's a business page. People post business on there the entire time. But I would argue that unless you are really trying to become a social media influencer, then you should not have a business, except for running ads. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I don't think you really need more than just personal. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But 80-20 rule, that's super important. We'll look at my Facebook in a little bit, and we can talk more about that. Use videos and images. So on every post, I have a video or an image with very few exceptions, because I want something to catch their eye first, right? This is a good example, right? Like I want them to see me and my brother as he's posing, and for all my people to recognize that he's my brother and be like, oh wait, oh look at that, what are they doing together, right? Just posting text is unless you do it in that certain way where it's kind of like an image, like a text image, you know what I'm talking about? That's a lot better. The 0.5 zoom, I love 0.5 zoom. It's like such a, like when you're walking through home, which you're gonna do open house video, so on and so forth. Your default on your phone is to do one-time zoom. If you zoom out, it goes to 0.5 zoom. I would do that on every video that you're doing, any kind of walkthrough or anything that you're doing, showing something. That make sense? Any questions on that?
Is that where it makes it, you filter away?
Yeah, so it's making it smaller, so,
You see one.
so this is one, zoom out, 0.5. And just like, if I take a picture on 0.5, or if I take a picture on 1. I can show you the difference between these pictures. So there's 1 and there's 0.5. You see how like you can like get the vibe of the whole room instead of just like a little portion of it? I really like 0.5 zoom. So put 4 into 0.5 zoom. It's just a thing that most people don't do, and I think it's worth knowing. Okay, but this is when we're gonna get to a little bit more of the meat. So let's talk about social media in and of itself. Stories versus posts versus reels. How many of you are experts on social media? Raise your hand.
Define expert.
Oh, see, he's an expert. I don't know how I would define expert, but talk to me about these things. So stories, posts, and reels. I'm sorry, I'm left-handed. Writing on a whiteboard as a left-handed individual, human being, is the worst. Okay, so let's talk about the number of times you should post. Let's talk about the length of time it lasts. Let's talk about we'll start with those two. I know there was more, but how many times should you post a story? You guys know what the story is? Are you sure you know what a story is?
Yes.
You're 100% sure. Does anybody not know what a story is?
I don't know this one.
Okay.
Different things. Now, reel is like a little video.
Yeah, so when you are on your homepage, these are stories. The very first thing you see when you log into any social media platform is stories. Okay? And stories are like little things, like here's my story, right? Crazy good turnout at this class. This is when no one showed up. It was 9:30. What else do I have on here? These are my kids doing a workout. That's my 2-year-old. I'm holding her hand. And that's the only way she'd fall asleep. Anyway, so a story is just like an update of what's going on in your life right now. My rule of thumb that I think is just a good consistent thing to have is always have a story. The number of stories you should have, because how long does a story last? Oh, that's the other thing. Length. Yeah, so a story lasts 24 hours, and you should always have a story. Okay. So the last 24 hours. So once you get into 20 hours, you should be thinking like, oh, what else should I put on? Right? I mean, I don't always have a story, but 90% of the time, just keep that as a mindset. Okay. What can I do to have a story up? Because people need to see more about you, be able to follow you and understand. Okay. Posts. How often do you think you should post? 3 times a week. 3 times a week. Okay. What other? You said 3 times a week? Any other ideas? Today?
Like actual post.
Physical post.
Like a picture.
Probably every day.
A picture a day.
I'd say like twice a week.
Let me be clear that in my mind, these are minimums. As a minimum. Once a day. 1 a week?
Two. I feel like if you're posting stories and reels from a week, then post a week is like pretty good.
Okay.
That's coming from a person who like hasn't posted a picture on Instagram in like 2 years.
That's totally fair.
I do reels and stories.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to make a point about this because I like that everybody. 2 things. First of all, you're going to see a lot of times in a lot of You're gonna be in a lot of classes about social media, and everybody's gonna tell you the best time. They're all gonna be different. You just be the first one to say that there isn't a best time to post. Like, in my mind, the best way to be on social media and to post is when you will do it. Consistency is the most important thing. Okay. And so in my mind, my opinion is that 3 times a week. Because if you're gonna hit an 80-20 rule, you should probably, this is not an 80-20 rule of stories. I do an 80-20 rule with my stories, but I hardly put in my stories something about real estate, except for you should check out my most recent post about like I'll do an update on the economy and things like that, right? And then when I do that, I'll put a story up that says, go check out my post. But whatever this looks like you should be doing this, right? If it's once a week, make that your goal and do that. But consistency is the only way that you're going to build anything. And that's the most important. And then, yeah, going back to the time of day, like everybody has an opinion in the back. Best time to send an email, best time to post on Instagram, right? Like there's something to be said that mornings are a little bit better. But what about right before lunch? Because that's when people, or maybe right about 3 o'clock when people are about to get off work and they're starting to get bored and they're starting to slow down a little bit, so they hop on social media to waste a little bit of time. Right? Like everybody has a different opinion. And there's solid arguments for all of them. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Reels. What are reels?
Like short videos. I think a TikTok.
Okay, that's true. Really quick. Stories are videos / post. Like stories are kind of whatever you want them to be. They can be pure text. They can be a video. They can be an image. Posts, kind of the same thing. Reels are always video, right? And in my mind, these are probably the most optional if you want to be good at it. Why do you think that is? It's pretty easy. For the view. Yes. Okay. More. Who sees reels? Yeah. How often do you think that your SOI sees your reels over your stories? Unless you put it on your page. Much less. Right? Reels are kind of like more people search for them. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, so you're right. If people are going to waste time on social media, where are they going to go? Probably this, right? So, but the trick is they're going to probably start with stories, kind of check out up here, and maybe scroll for a little bit until they get to reels, which are somewhere down here. Yeah. So at some point, Facebook will put reels in your face, right? And then you can watch whatever reel you think is most interesting, right? This is where people are going to waste time, but the chance of your reel getting in front of your people is way slimmer than either your story or your post. Yes.
I'm just gonna say, so I do like house to be, so we're married, so we'll like them on like house to do like.
Yep. Yep.
And you get pretty good response to people just responding to those like, oh, like where's this at, or like asking some questions. I ended up setting up like a buyer meeting with like somebody I haven't talked to in 7 years.
Yeah.
And he's like looking to buy later this year after he graduates from masters. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it works.
Well, yeah. So again, I'm going back to the consistency comment. If you're consistent on reels, that's a great way to go. But the people that are going to see reels are not going to be your aunts, uncles, and best friends usually. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so reels are better to get more people engaging with you as an influencer, as a person that could be anywhere. Does that make sense? And so if you're going to spend a lot of time on reels, then you need to be consistent, otherwise your people are. Does that make sense? And so I would say at least once a week. This, I mean, in my mind, I don't do reels super often because I've probably done 15 to 20 reels in my lifetime, and I've had like 20% of the usual people that will see my stuff actually like or comment or whatever on my videos in comparison. Hello, what's your name?
I'm Renelle.
Renelle, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're fine. Thanks for being here. Any questions on these? Again, reels in my mind are the best to build followers rather than to get in front of the current. If you want to get in front of your current following, this is where you want to be. Followed by this with more permanent stuff. So let's go back to this. Length 24 hours. This is always. And this is always. Right? This is how long they stay up. Reels, the nice thing about reels though is that they can become posts. So for you, having an issue with getting posts up, just put reels on Facebook. Do you already do that?
I don't know.
That's a really easy way to just start getting posts out there, besides just reels, so that your regular audience can see it. Okay, any questions about these things? Does this seem fair?
So, on the content, really, do you always want to make those like real estate related then?
Oh shoot, my computer died. I forgot my charger from using this USB-C port. Obviously working. Hunter, I'm still in the charger. Hopefully this lasts. Sorry, what was your question? Before I got distracted by the fact
So,
my
are
computer died.
real regular, like always, real estate related if you're trying to do?
It depends on what you want to do and who you want to do. So if you want to do real estate related, I would consider an account that is heavy into reels as being mostly business. Does that make sense? And so I would do pretty much only business stuff on reels, because then you become, it's just like TikTok. TikTok's a great analogy, right? Like then you become that guy that's doing these types of things that the public is seeing, rather than the people that you know. Right?
What's more your brand?
What do you mean?
Meaning you want to be branded as literature you to keep you familiar for. So your reels and your TikTok would be associated with that. Did you know here I am, doing this?
Yeah, it's just a way, it's more of just a way to show what you're doing. Because what we do is way more interesting than what we think. Like me teaching this class, this is interesting. Like how many people, like you being in this class, if you're in a class learning about social media, this should be on your story today. We're gonna put this on your story this way. Right? It's more of like you showing what you're doing in the moment.
Is there a link, how long the reel should be?
There's a limit.
There's a limit of like a minute, but for attention span wise, because people have like such a terrible attention span, I usually don't make mine more than 50 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking seconds for sure.
So in other words, we're promoting ADHD.
Yeah, we're promoting ADHD. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, daily, weekly. Okay, and then have you guys ever heard of a 5x5x5 when it comes to social media? This is just like,
5 comments, 5 messages, like 5 DMs.
yeah. Okay, so a 5x5x5 is really, really easy. 5 DMs, 5 comments, and then 5, what was it?
DMs like direct message.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a second. Oh, we don't like liking the doing. But because I can't remember, we'll just put 5 likes. It doesn't really matter. But these two are the most important. How would you DM someone? In your mind, what's the best way to DM someone?
Swiping up on stories. feel like
Nailed
that's a
it. Yeah.
really good way to
Guys,
get.
the way that you respond to stories is through DM. So if I'm up here and I'm scrolling up and I'm looking at Colson Tucker's story, the only way I can really reply is if I DM him directly. This is a super easy way to start a conversation with somebody. Dude, I saw your guitar. It's so sweet. What kind of guitar is that? You know, whatever. But the point is, like, this is a super easy way where someone already put out content that you are just replying to, start having a conversation. How have you been? It's been a long time. I would totally recommend, have you guys heard of the Y2, no, the D2, the bold method with like A and W, B and E?
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about? Okay, I'm gonna take 2 seconds on this.
Yeah, sorry.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, right? If you group them into 2 each, then there's 13 groups of 2. Follow me so far? There's 52 weeks of the year, okay? Just doing math here. Divided by 4, so quarterly is 13. So if you call 2 letters of the alphabet every quarter, we'll call your entire database every year 4 times. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So KW went through and they figured out all of the letters and what percentage of the demographic of the US have those last names with starting with blank letter. So that you're not calling 20% of your database on this week, instead you're calling pretty much 10 every week with a few break weeks. Does that make sense? Everybody following me
Yeah.
so far? So
But where do we get that?
email me and I'll send it to you.
Mhm.
Yep. Admin at petermorpool.com. Anyway,
MRAEL.
sorry, again, I'm left-handed. I excuse myself. I wasn't hired into this industry for my business.
That's why there are things electronic.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I was gonna say that to you, basically what they did is they took one letter that is less likely to have names in it and one that has more, so that.
I put 'em together.
Yeah.
Yep, so it's like 10%-ish of your database for each letter. I mean, there's 13 letters, so it's not quite 10
That's the D2,
or 13 groups.
T2 or whatever.
Yeah, it's something like that. I hate that name, so I call it the bold method. We teach it in bold.
Yeah.
If you ever take
Gotcha.
bold, they'll teach you there. Anyway, so when you're going through that and you're calling your database, so you're calling the A and Ws this week and the B and Es this week, right? Then you can call those 2 letters. You can focus on DMs to those 2 letters each week.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because you should never be DMing the same people. You should be seeking out people in your friends list that you haven't talked to for a while, going to their stories and DMing those people. Because you want to keep top of mind. Same thing with comments, right? You're not just commenting onto anybody who's on your feed. You're specifically going into the search function on Facebook and you're looking at people you haven't talked to for a while and commenting there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're just like, take 20 minutes each day and do these things. I don't care about that. I can't remember. I don't know, I'm not in the very part today. Okay, any questions on this? Everybody feel good? I
Are we
talked a
gonna
lot
get a
about
copy
this
of
one
the,
side. We absolutely have a copy of this side. Okay, so practice what you preach. This is when we do a story. Everybody get out your phone. We are going to make a story right now and put it on our Facebook page. So if you have never done this before, you're gonna open your Facebook app. You're gonna hit the very first thing, create story that you see, and then figure it out from there.
So here's my thing.
Okay.
I technically still don't have my license. That's why I was late, is I had to actually resend my fingerprints. that they
Oh, yeah.
put in the
And you
phone
should not
book.
do this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
But
good. Okay, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of everybody. You could be in this. You could be in a class. You ready, guys? Everybody look hilarious. Nice.
Oh, so look natural, you telling me?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Everybody look like you're a deer in the headlights. So everybody take a picture of yourself in this class right now and put it on your shoulder. Good for you. Do this section.
like, look how cool my web is that I can take you.
Doesn't matter.
You
I did sideways because then I could see you guys better. It will come in smaller. And so the way that my phone will look now is they came, right? And so you can see you guys in the smaller picture and then I got
Okay, I looked at a picture, do I put words on it or anything?
you can.
That's when he did like they came.
Oh, text.
You can put stickers, you can do polls on here in your story. Like which Hogwarts house are you? Like you can do all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty fun. The whole point of stories is to get engagement. You and
But let me just say this, on this,
Yeah.
Is that too many?
no, that's not too many. There's not too many stories. Let me rephrase that. Your story should not have like 20 things in it all the time, because then people won't swipe through it. It's just too much.
Right.
Like they want to see 1 to 5-ish. But if your story occasionally has 5 on it, that would definitely not fall in with that.
Oh, I see what
I
you're
keep
saying.
eating
you
my
know,
words.
like you can see, you become-
Yeah, and there's like a 15 things exactly. Everybody hates that, right? So you don't want to be the person that has a billion things on your story because no one's going to swipe through all of it. I mean, that's not true. That's not completely true because some people will, but occasionally. Well, you can do way more than one story a day. I would have a minimum of 1 story a day. So usually I keep anywhere between 1 and 5.
How do you get all those atoms?
Yeah, it adds it to the top.
Okay.
And they last 24 hours. So that means that those people put in 40 stories within 24 hours. Okay. All right, let's talk more. Everybody good? Get your stories up? Okay, I'm going to teach you a rule I made up. It's called the 3-line limit. We're going to talk posts now, okay? This is my lovely wife posting about our chaotic life. By the way, I have 4 kids, and the oldest is 7. So do that math. I have very young kids, so my house is always a mess. So I like to post about it if people like that who are in my similar situation, because that's just fun.
Makes them feel better, theirs is a mess.
Exactly, yeah. And so anyway, this is my wife. She's so sweet. What's wrong with this post? Too long, way too long, right?
Yeah.
I like to say a 3-line limit. This is completely made up, but like if we go to my page here, you should limit your posts to having no more than 3 lines at a time. I write a lot because I like to write. So like here's my summary of the real estate market, right? There's some exceptions in here because this didn't make sense to break it up. It's 5-line one, but like most of these are 1 to 3 lines. So 3-line limit. Make it easy for your readers to just jump through on bullet points. Okay. Any questions about that? Obviously, limited amount of emojis. Guys, we don't need more than. I mean, like there's a couple exceptions. Like I put a billion emojis about how my lady is a looker because she is. Check her out with her. Too much. But you know, occasionally it's fine. But you should never have this many emojis consistently. That's like, any questions about these? Some of these will just feel super basic to you, but hopefully some of them will not. Okay. Talk about groups really quick. How many of you own a home? Raise your hand. How many of you,
Well, sure.
how many of you own more than one? Yeah, good man. You own more than one.
Well, kind of, sort of. I have a house that is mine.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's 100%. Yeah. Seller financing is like the way to go to oftentimes get some sweet deals. Anyway, become a go-to in your community group. So all of you live in a community and you probably all have a group on Facebook that has to do with that community, whether it has to be like a development community or like a church community or whatever it might be. You're all a part of a community on Facebook in some capacity, whether you're on a group or not. So find the group that you're in and become the go-to in your community page. That's what I would do. It's such a simple thing. And it seems like it can be so dumb, but pretty much You're the guy that posts about HOA meetings. You're the guy that posts about new developments happening in the area. Oh, did you guys see this? They're putting up a highway from Vineyard to Redwood Road. It's called the Vineyard Connector. It's going through this section. It's right behind my backyard. I know that. And it's gonna be a 6-lane highway. I know all these things. Anyway, stuff like that, right? So here's a couple posts that I did in this community. There are 2 realtors in this community. Okay, one of them is a lady, and her posts are always, hey, if anybody in this group ever wants to buy or sell, I live in this community, please use me. And my posts have never been that. It has always been, hey, there's this happening and there's this happening, and my real estate team is hosting we're giving a dump truck, not dump truck, a dumpster. We're putting it in the neighborhood after Christmas. You want to just dump stuff in there? We do it every year. Please do that. Anyway, like, who do you think has more business from those 2 posts, right? It's all about contribution, right? So be in a group and contribute to that group in a meaningful way. I have had, I think, 4 appointments in that community when I lived there for 8 months. And she talked to me when I was moving from that community about how she hasn't had any issues that year. Which is fine. She had a hard year. But anyway, like, that's why, right? Like, she's not engaging in a non-sales and like, I don't know. Like, first of all, she's like,
I just asking you.
I did it. No, she's like twice my age, and it's weird to have that conversation about, well, this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know how long
You
she's
don't
been
know
doing
that,
that.
it's just like, yeah, I just focus on doing things that help people and don't worry about advertising.
Yeah. Well, I do advertise that I'm an agent, but not on that group. Like, that group is not built for me to advertise me as an agent, right?
Yeah.
That's not the purpose of the group. So use the group for.
They'll go to the page for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the next thing. Clean up your profile page. Let's look at that. Okay. I bet all of your profile pages are horrendous. Okay. So first of all, your cover photo, in my mind, there's 2 things here. First of all, your intro should talk briefly about things that you love. Like, describe yourself in as few words as possible in your intro, so that people instantly understand, oh, this is what this guy's about. So mine's family, friends, faith, real estate wealth advisor, disc golf addict. Like, I already described my hobby.
Yeah.
You probably don't have one, right? So it doesn't show up on yours. So if you go to edit bio, oh well, I don't know if yours will show edit bio. But it's called your bio for your intro. Yeah, so add a bio there, and then this reflects what your bio says. This cover photo. Does that make sense? So if your bio says, I'm a cowboy, your cover photo is you standing in a field, right? If your bio says, I'm a disc golf addict, or that I'm really a fan of family, right? Then it's a picture of your family, right? Like, people should understand quickly who you are by looking at those 2 things. Any questions? Also, your Facebook profile.
Change that background, like, my daughter's right there behind me in guns, but I can change that. I periodically change that.
Yeah, I change it probably every week. Pretty much to a different picture of my family. Because I'm a big family guy. I have 4 daughters. It's weird. Good luck. Thank you. Anyway, and then profile picture. Profile picture should be a picture of you, right? Not of you in a ski mask. Like, a good picture of you. We want to see your face. We want to know that you look like a nice person. And by that, we want to be able to relate. Any questions about this? Clean up your profile page. Okay. And then on your page, let's talk about the 80-20 rule one more time. So 20% should be about real estate. I would highly recommend that you, once a quarter, update everybody about what's going on in the market. They talk about becoming the economist of choice. Like, that's your job. You should know what's going on in the market, and you should tell everybody about it, right? So we had the pukes, and so I took a long time and I wrote down all this different information. I only had 2 people comment on it, but since this post, I've had 3 people reach out to me. separately, or tag me in a post, or wherever it is, because I'm the guy that they know on Facebook, on social media, that does it. That makes sense. Like, I'm building a home. Who do you know that are custom builders? Josh Barrett, right? Tag me in it. Bam. Or message me, hey, I'm looking at this commercial deal, looking to buy this warehouse, you know, do you know anybody that's in commercial, or do you do commercial, or what does that look like right now, right? Because I'm posting consistently at least once a quarter about what's going on. Alone, just that. Now, what's an easy way to do this? Where did I get this information? Anybody recognize this?
Yeah, you got it from, Jonathan's?
Yeah, Johnny's.
Yeah.
Right? Every quarter, KW does a quarterly market update. They have a big Zoom call. They post it on KW Utah, the regional page. So Keller Williams Utah Regional. They post the entire recording. There's the gala that we were all at. Everybody tagged these guys in the most recent thing, but they post the, oh wait, I'm not looking at the page. Sorry there. Okay. They post the recording, they post the slides, and it's super easy to find, and so easy, I'm going to show you so that you have no notes. Well, that's fine. If you follow this page, there it is, right there. Bam. Regional Director Johnny Christensen breaks down the numbers that drive the national. Like, I get all my information from this. I'm not some super wise economist, right? But I'm just breaking down what KW is already up. Okay. Any questions? Is that you, Renelle?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't so.
100%. I want to be your friend. Oh, and Corey?
Yep.
Nice guys. We can be friends. No one else though. That's it. I have a limit of 2 per class. I'm just kidding. Okay. Any questions about this? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Become the economist of choice. Okay. Take time to comment. So we talked about 5 comments a day. Make time every day to comment on people's posts, but then also when people comment on your posts, reply to every single comment every time. What was that? No, I don't think so. Because that's not something you can do every day, because it, you know, like, that's just, if anybody ever likes anything that you post, or sorry, not likes, but replies, comments, you always reply, even if it's literally just thank you. So let me give you an example. Okay? So once upon a time, I had a baby, not that long ago, and I did something that I've never done before. Not never, but that I don't do as consistently as I have since then. So we had a baby in October. I mean, like, this is a decent example. 61 comments. Right? If I come down here to my baby post, it's like 200. 170. 170 comments. Okay. How many of those are me saying thank you? Let's guess.
Not half of them, huh?
80, right? Like, no. Because it's 170. So I have replied to every single one of those. So it's 85, right? Yeah, doesn't matter. So, like, this seems like a way bigger deal than post. But the thing is, every time I replied to somebody's comment, more people saw it. That had to do with that person, the friends of their friends, so on and so forth, friends of my friends, right? Every time I reply, more people are seeing it, and suddenly I have 300 likes, 170 comments, because I'm all that. Okay? So comment on people's comments. Always reply. Okay? Any questions about that? So good? Super easy. Loafers. Make an offer for immediate response. I hate the word loafer. Who loves the word loafer? Stupid reason. What is the synonym to loafer? I guess immediate response. It's a call to action. You guys have probably heard of the word call to action, CPA more. My background is marketing. I have a degree in marketing, and so in any marketing profession, they always say call to action instead of loafer. Like, what the heck? We came up with that?
That
But-
sounds like your initials for like some
anyway, so MOFR stands for make offer for immediate response. But pretty much what that means is you're asking people to do something so that you can reply to it. Okay. And on a lot of your business posts, that should be present. Right? DM me and I'll get you a copy of the slide. Let me know if you want to, like, I am looking to do more CMAs. I'm willing to do 5 this week. The first 5 people that comment. Like, make offer for immediate response, okay? All right. And also, these are examples of different types of posts that you can do, just in case you're wondering and wanting to have a little bit more ideas. This is from a company that we paid a lot of money to help us build out like some, not just average ads, like some extremely high level ads. And this is one of the slides that they have in their instructional thing. Anyway, problem solving, personal story. So problem solving meaning there's this thing happening. Can you guys help me figure it out? Right? Personal story, like ask for help. This is great example, right? One of my favorite posts that I just did recently is I asked about what self-help books are you reading recently? That's how much I care about self-help. But people care about self-help books. So I got almost 80 comments on it. Like almost no one liked it, but people were just pouring into the comments of like, hey, you should check this out. You should check this out. And I'm replying to all of them. Oh, that's such a great suggestion. You know, because I'm just trying to start engagement with my people and more. I actually did end up getting 2 books. Conversation, right?
Several people mentioned the same book.
Yeah. Well, like when showing comments.
Gotcha.
You know, you're just like, I should probably get that one.
You
So.
probably could ask me when I read it, you know.
Tony's actually my neighbor too. Okay, so problem solving, personal story, right? Tell a story about what's happening in your life. I mentioned the story about my house being messy. It's probably one of the most, besides me having a baby, it's one of the most popular posts I've had in a while. It's like 200 likes and 100 comments or something. And that's literally just me posting a picture of my house that's a complete disaster, talking about like, this is my life right now. Got a 1-month-old, hardly sleeping. That's crazy. But like personal story, this is what's happening to me now. Methodology, this is how we do blank, right? Intellectual insight, cool quote, bandwagon, you know? You guys want to see me floss, right? No floss. Yeah. Personal philosophy, let's talk about Jesus. Bandwagon, like what's happening right now? Like what are people into, right? Like the new Harry Potter game just came out, so maybe you can
Don't play it.
Why?
Because since J.K. Rowling is apparently transphobic or whatever, people are against it. Yeah. So if you advertise, be careful.
Oh yeah. Well, Oxy, that's a great. Thank you for bringing that up because I want to talk about that. Almost every time in this class, I get asked like, "What can I post?" Like, because I post a lot about Jesus. I'm a Jesus fan, right? But the way that you post about something that might be controversial is like the rule of thumb is just be nice. Like you can post about you playing Harry Potter without being transphobic. You know, like I'm thinking like if you want to put on your story like what house are you or whatever, right? Like I think that 80% of the people won't find that as like offensive, right? But some will. And that's just the nature of it. But like the rule of thumb is just be nice. There are lots of realtors that are on social media that are not nice. And they lose out on 50% of whatever audience they could interact with, right? Because talking about how all Democrats are of the devil or whatever, right? Like
So it could be, so just because this one seems a little bit weird to me, like I'm not familiar with it. But like, I kind of listen to more than read because I drive a lot. Some recommend so that I have.
okay.
And so like when Brandon Sanderson came out last year and did the, well, guess what I did during the whole COVID, I whatever. Books for my son.
Yeah.
So we can both listen to them this year when they came out one.
Nice.
Right? So that's something like who's gotten the first book for Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah.
Are we liking it, yada yada yada, you know.
That's a good book. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I wouldn't say that controversial at all.
Okay,
Oh, bandwagon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can hop on the Brandon Sanderson bandwagon. Only first person, so he's awesome. Anyway, like bandwagon is like, who's gonna win the Super Bowl? You know, like, oh, the Chiefs are definitely getting it this year. You know, like in my mind, bandwagon is like what's happening right now that I should jump on bandwagon. Personal philosophy, again, back to Jesus, belief, harmony, like talking about things that are like common between people, transformation. I did a post a little bit ago about how my goal this year is to gain weight. This is what I'm doing. What do you guys have for recommendations? You know, like questions are awesome, guys. Post more questions. Ask your people. They like to think that they're a big deal, right? Questions are an easy way to start getting people to talk. Invitation, come to my event, PR, I'm awesome, check out my closing. Okay, advertising. I'm gonna give you something awesome. So to take a break, like 2 minutes. We need a 2-minute break before I go through this. It's 10:30. You guys okay with a 2-minute break, or are you like, let's push through it?
Sure.
Okay.
I gotta leave early.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give you something that's gonna change your life. You guys ready?
Ready.
I'm gonna teach you the best way to run ads for super duper duper cheap, like crazy cheap, not command. Wrong answer. Command is great if you're running ads for like an open house, but I'm talking about SOI specific ads. So if you go to business.facebook, sorry, let me set it up. No one write down what to do, okay? Because I'm going to show you what I did, and then I'm going to show you where you can find how to do it.
Okay.
Does that seem fair? Because that would take way too long for me to explain this, because most of you probably don't even have a business business hub created with Ad Manager. Anyway, I mean, your default for a business page is Ad Center. Ads Manager is different beast, right? So if you go to Ads Manager, you can run ads that are targeted specifically to lists. What? A list? You can get all the phone numbers and all the emails that you have could possibly be tied to people that email into Facebook. So you run ads that only target those. And so we run ads. No, so I keep getting involved with these different places to run ads. Okay, no. Okay, SOI. Okay, so let me give you a really good example. Or an example. I don't know if it's really good. Here's an example of an ad. Curious about buying or selling or building a home. All right, there we go. This is what my ads look like. Curious about buying, selling, or building a home? I got your back. That's it. I have a name, a phone number, and the only people that see this ad are people that I know personally. People will stop me and text me about it. Be like, man, I see you everywhere. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook. Every time I'm swiping through a story, like you pop up like once a day at least. This is just a reminder of like, hey, I'm real estate. Hey, I'm real estate. Without feeling like you're texting people or being like intrusive. Because it's super easy to just swipe past. Like, oh, cool, it's Josh. Oh, cool, it's Josh again. Oh, it's Josh again. They're so excited to see me, right? Anyway, if you guys want to build ads like this, it's super cheap. Guess how much I spend every day on this ad? Less. $1. $1 a day. And the nice thing is that Facebook doesn't charge you $1 a day. They charge you a max of $1 a day. So I probably spend to reach my SOI, which is like a list of, let's say, 200 people. I probably spend $200 a year on this ad. That's it. Does that sound doable?
Yeah.
And my people see me every day.
How often do you do that?
I just leave it up. It's always up. I run a daily ad that's running every single day without an end date for $1 max a day. And this is what the ad says.
So
They don't charge if you click.
They don't charge if you click. No, they only charge if you reach a certain point of impression. That makes sense? And so it could be in their story, but if they don't hang out for long enough or something like that, then they don't charge. So they could even see you and you still won't be charged. Yes.
So with the video feeds, is that the ones where like you can, it's not stories up here, it's in the middle where it's kind of by where reels are? Where like the reels? Like where do I see a video feed on Facebook?
That's a good question. I'm thinking real, but I'm wondering if there's one that is real. That is real. No?
Do you know what I mean? And then your.
Yeah, I would assume real.
Like it just pops up.
The right column is like, if I'm in Facebook right here, then over here is the right column. So if I'm at home, then it would be here in these ads.
Oh, the sponsor things,
Yeah.
okay, and then.
Well, anything that says sponsored is an ad.
Right, okay, so I just don't get it, which is cool, but anyway,
Oh, you definitely get them. I mean, like they might be hidden right now, but if you scroll through your feed, it's like every 3 posts is gonna be a sponsored ad. They're sponsored.
I mean, on the right hand side. I already seen that.
Well, on your phone you won't, but on your
No.
computer you should. But are you on home though?
Huh?
Are you on home or on your person page?
I'm on here.
Oh.
Anyway, the other question though, and then the other one just goes through your Instagram page,
Well, so you can run it through Facebook and Instagram.
that's what I'm saying, but it's the same price, right? In other words,
Yeah.
those 3 places.
Yeah, well, it goes in way more than 3. You can even like pick specifically, like this is going to Internet Shop, Business Explore on Facebook. Between Instagram and Facebook, it'll go to multiple places. It'll go to stories, it'll go into
Okay.
regular
that's what I'm
posts.
saying, so even though customers not.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. Yeah. But the more it's divided into those places, the less it will be seen consistently in any of them. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, I'm just gonna show you where to get that. So if you join this group, it's called Mastering the Changing Market. This is where I posted the how-to video. So when we taught those shift classes, this is where I put it, and I just send you here, so I don't have to resend the video. But in here, you'll find a video that's me sitting on the balcony here. There I am. See, I'm on the balcony outside. But this will show you how to post those ads. I think this is worth it. I think this is worth every penny. And so if you take one thing away from this class, I think this will help significantly your business. You have to get a good list though. Like your list has to be robust in the sense of you don't put realtors on there. Don't put get your emails from your family, friends, get those phone numbers, and it will make a big difference. Okay.
Take realtors off the list.
What was that?
Take our realtors off the list.
Yeah, take your realtors off the list. Because realtors should not be admitted.
Sorry, I'm there, but now we're.
It's just in there somewhere. You'll see a video of me. It's not that far
Okay,
down.
I'll just.
Yeah, it's like 6 posts down.
Realtor, you just archive.
I don't put realtors in command.
They came in.
I actually don't use command, but that's teams sometimes don't use command. It's a little bit harder to function. Like I think Brett Wild uses Chime, right? Yeah, we use Chime too. But command is awesome in your server. Like super, super, super good. For teams, it can be a little bit more tricky. Anyway. Okay, so speaking of teams, this is how our team does if you're to lead with like, this is what I can do every single day. This is what we do as a daily and as a weekly. And if you're doing these things as a daily activity and as a weekly activity, you are killing it in real estate, right? So every day we go into Facebook, we check whose birthday it is, right? Every day we're making 2 to 6 calls on those letters. We're writing 2 handwritten notes. We're doing 2 top 50 activities, such contacts. So if they're in our top 50, it's like an organization that we have with our people. We're doing some kind of activity with that. We're posting on Facebook / Instagram on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So we're trying to do 3 days a week. We're doing 5 comments per day to SOI with the letter of the week. So we're looking at the letter of the week. We're having a consistent story on social media. And then weekly, we're doing these things. So I thought I'd share that. Any ahas from what we talked about? Tell me your ahas so far. We're almost there. We're like 10 minutes away, maybe 15.
This really isn't as hard as it seems like it's going to be.
It's really not. Yeah. That's
But
good. I
there's
love
a
that.
lot to work through and get this through.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would start taking more pictures. Start there. Take more pictures of what you're doing every day.
And just put them up as stories.
Yeah. Well, just like make that your habit, because then stories come naturally, right? Then you're not like, oh, what should I post? You're like, oh, let me look in my photos of the last pictures I've been taking. And then it's just easy from there, right? Yep. Pictures or posts. I mean, stories or posts. Any other aha? You guys learn anything? Nothing?
So this should be email if I email. Thing part.
Yeah, I'll email you the slides. The slides are like not, I mean, there's a lot of me talking more than the slides, but
No, I put that, but it's still both on my brain.
yeah, and also I think this is being recorded. So you can always rewatch it as well. Okay, moving forward, no more ahas. I'm gonna demand an aha from you before this is demand over. Okay, cool. Good. Okay, awesome. Yes.
I didn't
Okay.
realize ads were that cheap.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a big.
Yeah, ads are whatever you want to spend on them. So, yeah. Ads usually aren't that cheap. Like if you want to have really solid ads, like you should do A/B testing, you should be running multiple ads always about the same thing. But with this, I don't see a need because yeah, A/B testing is good.
If you do it right.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Okay, your website, this is from that class, but I don't know if it really applies. You should have a good CRM. You do. If you either have command or you're on a team that probably has a good CRM. Are you smart, mind smart? You guys will learn about these things, so we'll skip it. Are you Googleable? You guys ever heard of being Googleable? Good. You should be Googleable, meaning there should be a way to leave your reviews. There should be a way to access your website. There should be a way to get directions where you work. If you go to Google My Business, if you Google the words Google My Business, that will take you to where you can create your account to become Googleable. Okay? Any questions about that? 14 Google reviews. Okay, not horrendous. We literally this year, now we're asking every single closing. Well, it's my job to text people to start getting reviews, but we're like 14. What have we been doing? Hiding in the dark? Like this team has existed for like 15 years. Yeah, well, somebody left a review, which is perfect. Someone left a review about how the food was bad. And it was a 4-star review. We're like, yeah, that's what we love. Because then when people look through the reviews for the reason why it's not 5 stars, they'll see it was a false review, like someone messed up. And so, isn't that great? No, it's good.
The food was bad.
Yeah, so they mixed us up with some restaurant and they left us a review. And so, anyway, it's great.
Maybe the open house had bad food or something.
No, they didn't say the food was bad. It was like, we went to this location, I can't remember what. But it's like, clearly it's in the wrong place, which is perfect.
There's nothing you can do with that.
No, there's something you can do. But I don't want 5 stars. Like, I don't want to seem like I am obviously only getting people that love me. That's 5 stars. I'd rather be 4.9 than 5. I'd rather have a lot of reviews at 4.9 than a lot of reviews at 5, because then you know that like, okay, people are actually leaving reviews and because not everybody's going to be happy. Like that's impossible, right? I mean, if it's an honest, if you're honestly getting reviews. There are people that will literally, yeah, anyway. Okay, let's talk about the KPI really quick before we wrap up. Do you guys know what the KPI is?
Isn't that like the test that tells you like a ton of weird questions? We took it.
Oh, you did take it.
Yeah, we took it and it like tells you about like your
Also,
personality and like
personality assessment. But that personality assessment, used by Williams.
Well, there are multiple personalities. Yeah, so they made this one though.
But no, I made, like, not the exact same questions, but very similar.
Yeah.
Other places.
Oh, yeah.
So they developed it by copying it,
My copy, yeah.
which is
I mean,
fine.
like, yeah. So the KPA, I think that there's a lot of value in the KPA, and it is my goal to do a KPA every month. So if any of you are interested in going through the KPA, because it's one thing to take it, it's another to go through it. It's like it's like understanding a little bit more of who you are, and then also understanding where you're a good fit in different roles. If any of you are interested in that, you can email me, and I'd love to go through it with you. I try to do that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get it from Molly. Yeah, you can see your results, but the results don't really like tell you about like what the test is figuring out about you. Like it will tell you the end result, right? But anyway, so if you're interested in that, then email me. I'd love to go through it with you. I try to do it once a month, so I usually leave it up in this class. Okay, ahas. Everybody give me an aha. Let's start in the back. Yep. Let me rephrase the aha, sorry, before you say it. What are you going to do differently? What's the one thing you're gonna do?
Start thinking about, because I always had that impression of posting on Facebook or social media, just, hey, whatever, if you post something that seems useless, it's useless. All the media.
Yeah.
Then now I realize.
Yes. Yeah, you are, as a real estate agent, in a sense, a public figure. And so people will follow you more as you grow in this business as like a public figure. And so if you think of it that way, then everything you do is going to become, not everything, but a lot of what you do is going to become more people, more they follow you. They want to know that you're still you. You are. Carry on, go.
I like
Oh, awesome. Okay. Did you get everything you needed from that?
Yeah.
Turned it, okay.
So I like to add things and also like the amount of DMs.
Fun, fun.
Yeah. Just this whole because I mean, if you have like, for example, like my Instagram, I have like a real estate agent. So DMing people, and they like go look at my profile, they're gonna see.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Okay.
How to create stories and just doing the stories, like how simple it really is. I thought it was more complicated, so we try to do that.
Awesome. Always a story up. Go.
can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
So-
Actually, no, we don't have questions here.
I know, right?
Question
YouTube,
your judgment on that.
That's a question.
but and I also wonder if you-
Why?
because I feel like with YouTube you can do like a little bit longer or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like YouTube.
Yeah, you can. But why do you want to be able to do? Like, there's not a right or wrong answer to it. I'm just,
Well, so again, I like branding, I kind of want to, I haven't figured it out, obviously.
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
haven't figured out exactly what I want. Like, what makes me unique or different. But I kind of am reinventing myself because at my age and starting my career, so I thought I kind of want to do that like journey, you know. And this is my goal.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good platform. That's for sure.
You know, I don't know, maybe I've listened to too much of that guy, I don't know. And different people that just talk about how people want to get to know you through.
People do want to get to know you. Like way more than you think. People want to get to know people, which is why stories and posts are important. My only thing is YouTube is a beast in the sense of like I mean, like, let's use Mr. Beast as an example, right? Mr. Beast, the most famous person that probably has ever been on YouTube. Have you ever heard of Mr. Beast?
No.
Oh, okay, well, never mind. He doesn't exist. Just kidding. No, Mr. Beast is probably the most famous YouTuber that's ever existed. And he spends, 5 to 10 hours on every video just to make that happen. And so, not including the money. And so the trick with YouTube is that, like, it's one thing to be on social media and to do very low production stuff, like filming on your phone. Another thing to be on YouTube, because the only way people are going to watch something on YouTube is if it's much higher level, that makes sense, of a production, which gets really costly and requires a lot of experience, time extensive, which isn't like it's not something that you can't do, but just going into it, you should know that it's more than regular social media in that sense.
The theme built for my one, I love how cheap it is to do an app. That's phenomenal. And then my other is more of a thinking too. Is it okay? Is there a right or wrong? Why would you or would you want to put a QR code on your profile?
Why would you want to put it on the profile?
Well, I don't know. Then you put them,
Where would it go?
well, it's just so people have access to it. I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, yeah, no, sorry, but I know, I'm just trying to dive deeper though, of like, a QR code goes to a site, right? So where would your QR code go in your mind? Yeah.
Well, see, again, I don't know much because I'm still waiting for my being licensed, so I haven't
Okay.
been able to get into, like, I've downloaded the KW app, but I can't even access
Okay.
it. Okay, so,
Wouldn't you just put the link in rather than?
Yeah, That's what I would say. Is instead of like putting a QR code on like the cover photo or something like that, or your profile picture or anything like that, I would just put the link somewhere in your bio. If you wanted to put a link in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the QR code is good sometimes in certain areas. I mean, it's really good in many cases, but I wouldn't say on your profile. Or in any of your posts.
I said materials is the best place for QR codes because people can't just click on the link and go to it. And so they can take a picture with their phone and go to that. I think that's more what QR codes.
Yeah.
but with the KW app, it's QR code, so that.
Yeah, but it has a link though. You can just copy and paste the link instead. I would do that instead of doing the QR code. Yeah, you can put the QR code on like a business card or something like that. It's true. Or a brochure or something. Yeah. And honestly, well, yeah, you could do that. Never mind. Are you a solo agent?
No,
Okay, are you in a team?
well, I'm in suspension, meaning like, it's a suspended state, so I'm supposedly going to red team.
Red sign?
However, red sign, however, I do have to go through training.
From the new team, new
Yeah,
agent team.
they help me.
Yep, that's very common. We're the same way. We're looking, like we're open to recruiting, except for if you haven't gone through the new agent program, then that's the first thing we'll tell anybody. It's like, you should do that.
That's probably.
That's why Peter wasn't too interested
Wasn't too interested? What do you mean?
when I was talking with him.
Oh, yeah, well, we just want you to go through the new agent program because like there's so many things that, well, no, did you get the vibe that he wasn't interested?
That's the vibe I got from him.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's good feedback.
Yeah, I just felt like, yeah, he wasn't, Dan seemed a little more interested, but. No, I just felt more comfortable with Jordan.
Jordan's awesome though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's awesome. This is just for new agents, not for anybody that's been in the industry
Oh, okay.
for more than like 2 years. Like if you've renewed your license, we won't have that requirement. But if you haven't renewed your license, where 80% of people drop off anyway, we want you to go through 4 deals with the new agent team, because then we're not answering questions like, how do I open the super box? We're answering questions like, how should I word this addendum instead? Does that make sense? It's just like a different vibe.
That's why I really good. He didn't do it for 4 years. I think he's more set up for like, just stuff that's new to me.
Yeah, all the, yeah.
And that was basically for me as well. But my KPA, Cody changed his mind.
Oh, really? Change his mind of hiring?
Yeah. I think he was at all interested in me. So,
So he wasn't interested than he was after he saw your picture. KPAs can make a difference, guys. All right, anything else you guys want to cover?
this is.
Yeah. Not fun. There's something. Okay. Well, thanks for coming. That's all I've got. And email me if you want that. If you want a copy of the slides. Jason, what did you learn in this class today? I knew it. I wasn't teaching, I was just talking. Social media.
It was good. I invited the page up.
It's Hey Josh, because that's what you do.
Trying to come up.
Jason's on our team. He's one of our top agents and he does pay me to do my job. Well, we didn't get the movie event on the Tuesday after. We're the following Tuesday now. Well, the thing is, people don't go and see movies as much anymore. I actually think it's fine.